Welcome back to AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I'm Josh. This is Talking Smarks, and I'm going to dive right into it. I've had this on my mind since Friday. I've been stewing on it all weekend long. And finally, I'm here, and I'm in front of a mic, and I'm about to give it a piece of my mind. In other episodes, I had talked about the scandal surrounding Vince McMahon and WWE and the hush packs he kept to keep his affairs quiet. I said I would be bringing it up as the scandal continues, and guess what? There's more! On Friday, the Wall Street Journal published yet another exclusive. I pulled up the article, and I couldn't tell whether I was angry or whether I was going to throw my phone at the wall, because this is absolutely insane. The headline: WWE's Vince McMahon agreed to pay $12 million in hush money to 4 women. The longtime chief of World Wrestling Entertainment Inc. secured non-disclosure agreements to help keep secret allegations of sexual misconduct and infidelity under wraps. And that's not all. This has been happening over the last 16 years. This isn't just something that happened recently. The first story that broke out with the paralegal was back in 2019. No, this has been happening for over 16 years. The article does go into detail. However, the details are quite disturbing, and I'm not going to get onto them on air, because that's just gross. The fact of the matter is, something is going on here. If this was any other multi-billion-dollar corporation, the board of directors would have had the CEO ousted in a millisecond. And I know what some of you are thinking, but Josh, he's not the CEO anymore. No, you're right. He's not on paper. He's still the head of creative. Yes, Stephanie McMahon took over as CEO while this investigation is ongoing. Vince is still the head of creative. As far as I'm concerned, he's still in charge. It's just on paper he's not in charge to keep the board of directors and those sponsors that pay out millions of dollars at bay. How long is this going to go on? We didn't hear anything for several weeks, and here we have this story. Allegedly, Vince showed up at the SmackDown taping Friday night, business as usual. No entrance, no repeat of the whole debacle that we had a couple weeks ago when the story first broke out. No, none of that. He simply was business as usual, as if nothing happened. Also, it was alleged by several other credible news sources within the wrestling industry that during the original SmackDown taping a couple of weeks ago, when Vince McMahon came out when the story first broke out, that he was set to make an in-character appearance on SmackDown, where he came out. We all thought he was going to say something poetic. No, he just thanked the crowd, welcome to the SmackDown, and just bounced. Allegedly, when he got to the backstage area, he just looked and just said, F him. More than likely referring to the fans and to the news media. Vince is acting like this is just no big deal. This is extremely disturbing news. I am 26 years old. The bulk of the wrestling I watched as a child was during the Attitude Era. A lot of it the Ruthless Aggression Era of WWE as well. Primarily the Attitude Era. The Rock, Stone Cold, Mankind, Undertaker, the whole 9 yards. And a lot of people can say, and I'm with them, a lot of the content during that time frame did not age well. However, there is a very clear line between a storyline that's on television, because at the end of the day, wrestling is a TV show. It's interactive theater. It's one thing to have 2 wrestlers in a storyline where they're in an affair or they're in some kind of nefarious relationship. It's another thing entirely being the head honcho of a multi-billion-dollar corporation not only have affairs, cheat on your wife, but then pay them to keep quiet. Now, granted, yes, I know what you're thinking. It's not illegal to have an affair. No, you're right. It's not. Is it frowned upon? Absolutely. And I don't encourage it. If you're doing that, ew, gross, get away from me. However, there are sexual harassment allegations here. This isn't a storyline. This is real life. And yes, while Vince McMahon is not the only person in the wrestling industry to be accused of such activities, there's a whole list. Remember the speaking out movement a couple of years ago? It wasn't just Vince. The list is a mile long. But Vince is the biggest name by far on that list. He's the head honcho. Arguably, if it wasn't for him and what he's done, you can say whatever you want about the creative product of WWE right now. If it wasn't for him, the wrestling industry wouldn't be where it is today. It is a multi-billion-dollar global juggernaut. And it's not just WWE. We got AEW. We have New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact, GCW. The modern wrestling industry wouldn't be where it is today without Vince McMahon. To a lot of casual fans, the people that only know WWE, Vince is wrestling. So how does that look? I tell you, it's hard. As a lifelong fan, this is hard for me to stomach. Even the other day, I was praising the storyline content that WWE had. They finally gave Liv Morgan a title. She deserves it. I like the Roman Reigns Tribal Chief character. It's great. Cowboy Brock Lesnar. I love that. I mean, they even got Logan Paul to sign with WWE. WrestleMania is a huge event every year. I said it before, and I'll say it one more time. Without Vince, the modern professional wrestling industry wouldn't be where it is right now. Yes, he's not the only one. And I'm not going to be part of the crowd that's like, oh, cancel Vince McMahon, because I'm not part of that. But the fact of the matter is, there are millions of dollars that have been paid out to these women to keep quiet. At the very least, there should be some type of accountability, right? Not just Vince, oh, he stepped down, but he's still head of creative. No, there has to be some type of other actions taken here. This is absolutely unprecedented. And make no mistake, I'm probably going to be talking about this more as we learn more and more about what's going on. And keep in mind, folks, WWE is not going away anytime soon. I don't want that either. They're the figurehead of the wrestling industry for a reason. Yes, AEW is gaining a lot of ground, but WWE is still absolutely gigantic. They're a publicly traded company worth billions of dollars. They're not going away anytime soon. However, WWE has the choice. They're at a crossroads right now. They can choose how they want to be remembered, how future generations will remember them. Because now, and WWE has had, and Vince has had they've had quite the history of scandals, haven't they? This is nothing new. I'm just going to name off a few. I'm not going to get into detail, but you can read them. Jimmy Snuka, Chris Benoit, Sable, the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royale. They've had quite a few. And I'm not saying every wrestling company is innocent. No, every company has skeletons in their closet. However, WWE is the biggest of them all. So they're going to be held, in theory, to a bigger standard, right? Yes. If there are other wrestlers still active in the business that have these allegations against them, people should look into that. I'm all for that as well. But like I said, Vince is the biggest name so far that's been accused of this. And yes, it's nothing new. He's had different scandals. Oh, don't let me forget, Owen Hart as well. That's a whole other suitcase to unpack, and I'm not going to do that here on this episode. So I'm just going to make it really loud and clear, and I'll let it get back to the music. WWE has the chance to right the ship and to get back into the good graces of the public. Enough of this carny malarkey. It's 2022. Society is changing. They can adapt. I hope they do. This is Talking Smarks. Follow the show on Twitter and Insta at Talking Smarks. And I'm going to bring it back to the music now. This is Ames Student Radio, the way radio should be.